it's not as deep as receivers. It's pretty, you know, everyone's list is probably going to have the same top 3, top 4 quarterbacks. But after that, who are your quarterbacks?
Well, those guys at the top, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, those are money in the bank. Those will be first-round picks for sure. Stafford at number 4 will sneak into the first round in some drafts. Then you got Michael Vick and Cam Newton, running quarterbacks that have high potential, but you're worried about injuries. And then after that, Tony Romo at 7. I got Roethlisberger at 8, Matt Ryan at 9, and Phillip Rivers at 10.
So what do you say to those fantasy players that are very high on Cam Newton? Because he's, you know, he set the bar high for rookies in general, but, you know, a lot of people are pretty much saying he's an elite quarterback now. I mean, what do you think of that?
There's the devil's in the details with Cam Newton. When you look at his numbers, it's really 2 different seasons that he had last year. First half of the year, he was number 1 or number 2. Second half of the year, he was at like 11th to 12th overall at quarterback. So there's a risk that defenses started to figure him out a little bit. Also, 15 rushing touchdowns. Everyone's going to pretty much say that's hard to count on. Yes. You know, I would say 8 or 10 is more likely. So I think that he's going to be good, but if you're picking him in the second round, you might be disappointed.
So in terms of Stafford, like they're saying Calvin Johnson and Stafford are going to be the best duel since Moss and Brady. Do you think that's going to happen this year? You think Stafford's just going to have a breakout season?
I do. I mean, last year would really be his breakout season, but can he build on that? Can he continue to improve? I think so. I think they throw the ball a ton, and in fantasy, opportunity is just as important as talent. And when you got a guy that's throwing that much, I mean, he threw for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns last year. So yeah, I like him a lot. And you're going to see him going in the first round of some drafts, and I think he'll probably live up to that potential.
Oh yeah. Give me a name that is well outside your top 10, but could end up there at the end of the season.
I would say Jay Cutler is the guy that you want to talk about. And he's just talented, he can light it up, and ever since he's been in Chicago, he's not had a full set of weapons. He's not had a good wide receiver, number 1, to lean on. Now he's got Brandon Marshall, as we said, so I think that you can get him as your backup, and if something happens to your starter, or even if something doesn't, you might be playing him a few weeks, definitely. So I like Cutler.
It seems like he faces a lot. I mean, yeah, I know he never had the weapons, but he always seems like he faces a lot of scrutiny through the media, through anything. So I hope he's right, because I think he's a very good quarterback, and now he finally has the pieces he could work with.
Well, it's put up or shut up time for Jay Cutler, and I think a lot of people wouldn't mind if he shut up a little bit.
Tight ends, the second receivers on most football teams. Who do you think is the top 10 right now?
Well, tight end in this position is becoming more important in NFL and in fantasy. You need to know what guys can potentially make a difference for your team. Let's see. Well, we've got Jimmy Graham at number 1, and he is the number 1 receiver for Drew Brees. So to call him a tight end is a little misleading. He would be in the top 5 of receivers if he was a receiver. Gronkowski, number 2. Don't think he'll be quite as good as last year, but still solid number 2 tight end. Number 3, Vernon Davis, our man, BD. Number 4, Aaron Hernandez, the other Patriots tight end. Again, more like a receiver than a tight end, really. Number 5, Antonio Gates. Fred Davis, number 6, my sleeper candidate. Number 7, Jermichael Finley. Number 8, Jason Witten. Got Tony Gonzalez at 9, somehow still playing. I don't know if he's 40 or 42, but he's just unstoppable. And Jacob Tamme from Denver at number 10, who is another bit of a sleeper, but he's climbing up the boards. People are getting aware of him. So,
who's your sleeper for tight end?
For tight end, I like Fred Davis from Washington. He's a guy that before he was injured last year, famous last words, he was a top 5 tight end. And RG3 is only going to make the Redskins better. He's the kind of quarterback that's going to be rolling out of the pocket a lot, looking for the safety valve. I think that will be Fred Davis. And he's great in the red zone too. So yeah, lots of like there. Up and comer. And again, a name that you can wait on in your draft and let other people take swings at the big guys, and you can lay in the cut 8th round, 9th round and snag Fred Davis. And I think you could do pretty well with that.
Definitely. And so, how about Bus?
How about Bus? Tight end? Well, Rob Gronkowski, and I don't hate him. I don't think he's going to have a bad year, but if you pick him in the late first or early second, which is where he's going in drafts, I think you're going to be disappointed. He ended with an injury last year. He's been partying this offseason. It's not a very Patriots-like thing to do, quite frankly. He might be in the doghouse a little bit. Aaron Hernandez, every bit as talented, and I just think Gronkowski will come back to earth a little bit. He'll be good, but not worth a second-round pick.
Good argument there. So that concludes our top 10s for the 4 major positions.